Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, happy Hanukkah and welcome to Ask an Engineer. We've got all sorts of electronics. We're wearing electronic skulls. We've got like electronic menorahs. We've got everything electronic. Our next engineer is here. We're going to make an electronic cat any second now.
That's right.
Robo cats. We got an exciting show for you tonight. We're in the middle of our Christmas rush, but so we are still shipping packages in the background. You basically people walk around with packages. They're your packages that you just ordered that you want for the holidays. So it's very exciting time. I was a little tired, but it's okay. We're going to do the show. So tell them what's on tonight's show.
On tonight's show, the code is favorite, 10% off in the Adafruit store. That's 10% off everything except for gift certificates, EagleCat software, and the open source Taz Lulz bot because it's already on sale. We're going to talk about the show and tell. Amazing things that people showed and shared. It was massive. Pack in the mailbags and stop by and read your letters to us. Talk about the Adafruit Jobs Board, the place online for makers to find jobs and for cool companies to find makers. Some news in the world of open source hardware. The Adafruit Learning System, 664 tutorials and counting. We're going to travel back in time. A little bit of maker history, art, science, literature, you name it. We cover it on Time Travel Tuesday. Wearables, we have one of the best videos that we've ever made at Adafruit. That's a preview that I think everyone's going to enjoy, Adafruit on Broadway. 3D Thursday, news that's fit to 3D print. We're going to have a fun video and some other things. We have new products. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to have a trivia question. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer. That's it. That's what we're doing tonight. Okay. So you know, we have a lot of new people that are watching the show. The word's getting out.
Yes.
And so I should maybe mention a couple things. We do this show every week on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'm not always wearing a skull.
No.
Sometimes.
And we have guests sometimes. We've been doing this for 5 years. We do this in the Adafruit factory. And you know, once in a while, because we're crazy, we make like promises about certain things, like we're not going to spam people ever. We're never going to have like all those social media buttons.
We're not going to have blinking Christmas trees.
We make these things that because we really love our customers and our community. We're not going to do sponsorship or take advertising on our blog or anything.
But are we ever going to do affiliate links?
We're never going to do affiliate links. But one of the things I want to tell everybody is the Adafruit Factory is a part of the show, and it always will be. We have more space that we're getting because we're growing. And we decided we're never going to do a studio. We're going to always be inside and part of the Adafruit
Those
factory.
are real boxes made out of cardboard, not cardboard fake boxes made out of cardboard.
Yeah, that's not a stage or anything. And you know, the start of Ask an Engineer was a webcam that we got free at a conference. I was doing all the shipping, you were doing all the kitting. And we like being part of the factory as part of the show. It's an entity that's with us, and we're going to keep doing more types of shows where you get to see more of Adafruit. And anyways, so that's a little bit about the show. You answer engineering questions. We show new products. We talk about things.
I answer real engineering questions.
Yeah,
live.
You do all that.
Not fake engineering.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's actually live. Like people can actually type
this is the longest running electronics live show on the internet. So anyways, that's the show because. We get new people and they say, what is this all about? So that's what it's about.
You can tell it's really live because once in a while my demos don't work out.
That's never actually happened.
Okay. It's rare.
Let's pay some bills. The code is favorite, and that is 10% off everything in the store except for gift certificates, EagleCAD, and Taz. Some reminders, the freebies are going on right now. So because we're doing this holiday special, half-size Perma-Protos, $100 more you get for free. If you spend $150 or more, free Trinket 5 volt. $200 or more, UPS ground in the continental US. That's real UPS shipping that actually has tracking and will arrive on a time that they tell you. And Pro Trinket free if you spend $250 or more. Look at this wonderful little graphic.
It's the festival of
Happy
LEDs.
Hanukkah. It's a festival of light. Oops, no, LEDs. So that's going on right now. This is a graphic on our homepage, so I wanted to show.
It's a nice graphic.
Yes, very nice. So next up, our show and tell. We do the show and tell every single week. It's half an hour before this show. And people from around the world show their projects. They show retro hardware. They show stuff that they show like hundreds of dollars worth of Willers they got for $5. They show old books they found. They show just about everything.
We saw a 110-year-old 101 manual key punch.
Okay. So why don't you
I can't even talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you some of the oldest stuff that we've seen.
Yeah, so talk about the show and tell, and I'm going to do some stuff online.
Okay, you do some stuff, and I'm going to
Yeah.
go through the show and tell. So we had a jam-packed show. It was, again, totally full of people today. Start off with Tony from Adafruit Northwest. He came by and showed some stuff that he got from a thrift store he went to.
It's a tongue twister.
I know. But he got these great things. He got a vacuum tube book. And it's kind of an old book, but it's still like, had really good like basics of electronics analysis, like KVL and KCL and like resistors and calculating like, input impedance and output impedance, because you need to handle that when you're dealing with vacuum tubes. It was a very beautiful book, so from the 60s, I think. And then he had another book called The Making of the Micro, which talked about the history of the computer. And because this book was from like the 70s or something, it was like this thick. It was just like we have computers now. It's like the microcomputers are totally new. So it was a very thin book. And he says now, of course, that would be an enormous book, The History of the Micro. And he also showed off an old analog multimeter and demonstrated why analog multimeters are in some ways superior to digital multimeters, even though they're not as precise. They do show trends in voltages and current, which is way better. The digital multimeters, you just see the numbers blink. But with an analog meter, if you have like a sine wave or like a square wave, you'll actually be able to sort of like sense what the current or voltage is doing real time without needing an oscilloscope. So I can still keep an analog meter, which
that was cool.
Turns up in videos once in a while because it's a really beautiful meter. And it's great for showing like visually voltages and stuff. And they don't need batteries. Like his works without a battery, of course, because the voltage powers the little meter. It's great. Okay, Phil B came by and he just wanted to show off. He went to a swap fest or
a thrift store. He had a
no,
deal.
it wasn't a thrift store. It was like a flea market. And he picked up a box of Weller West 50, like the nice stations with the adjustable temperature knob, for $5. He got 7 of them for $5.
Yeah.
That's like a 1/100th discount. Usually those are $50 to $100 each new.
I like that we've expanded show and tell, because now there's a little bit of a competition between the makers that are like, it's like makers market. It's like, well, I went to this thrift store and I got like 15 Wellers for $5, and this other one's like, I got an original copy of the, Horowitz and Hill.
Yeah. Tony had Horowitz and Hill last week, and I think this was a little bit of the competition. So he got an first edition.
And I like how in our like maker world, it's, I've described this to people before. It's like skateboarders, and it's not that you're not competing with each other. You're just trying to like do the coolest tricks. And now it's like, hey, like check out this, like when you make a project, like check out this trick and like check out this trick, and people keep building on top of it. So the retro edition and the workspace edition that we have on Show and Tell is really neat. I really like that.
We had quite, it's starting to get more, which is good. It's like a mix of projects and also, because you learn a lot from looking at old projects and products.
Yeah.
Actually, I learned a lot. Noah and Pedro came in. They are from Adafruit Southeast, and they do 3D Hangouts on Thursday with Matt, Noah, and Pedro. And they showed off their HDMI camera monitor project they're going to be showing off next week. They made their own camera that mounts on top of their digital camera, DSLR, so they can preview the video, and usually these cost a couple $100, but they made one for like $50 or something, which is pretty sweet.
If you're one of the folks out there that said, Adafruit, if you carry an open source printer, we'll carry it. Noah and Pedro have been
using the Taz.
Using the Taz 4 from Lulzbot, and they're able to make some of the best prints with it. So we're really happy that we finally have a completely 100% open source printer that works for all the type of projects people want to do, cosplay, the big builds, all the things that we want to do for our particular projects with enclosures. And this month we have it at the lowest price online. And so watch their show tomorrow if you want to see some of the things that TazBot can do. It is the biggest and the biggest open source printer out there.
And one of the didn't it win Makes like most like #1 maker
most open award or something,
most open maker station.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was that, and then so that's Team Adafruit showing up, and don't forget to check out 3D Hangouts tomorrow with Matt, Noah, and Pedro showing off what they're doing, The
last 3D Hangouts of the year, because
it's Christmas Day and
Christmas,
New Year's Day.
Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
They're taking a well-deserved break. They did like 30 projects.
They should start a giant print now, so it prints for the next like 2 weeks.
2-week print. Okay, and then next up we had Robert, who came in and showed off some cool CNC made projects. He did some CNC wooden projects where he made a little CNC and it like carved into robots. He made trivets and coasters and little wooden stuff. And he's like, he wants to upgrade. So this year he's making a rowing machine glider based huge CNC. It's like the size of a table, and it uses a rowing machine glider as one part of the gantry, which is actually kind of brilliant because it's like a big, solid, stable, and if you can find like somebody tossing out a rowing machine that's broken, you can grab the glider off. Like, it's a good idea. And he's going to come back and show off his cool arcade cabinet and some other fine projects. Jeff came in, and he didn't have audio, so we played Maker Charades, but from what we can tell, he made a GPS audio player, so depending on the location you're at, it will play different music. He uses the Ultimate GPS, our soundboard, and a Pro Trinket.
Yeah, he made a location-based music player.
Yeah, it's nice.
Which is cool. And then I said, here's a bad idea. You should make a location-based video player so the movie studios can force you to only watch movies in certain locations, like in a movie watching zone. So it's like location-based DRM.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Next up,
They're not all good ideas.
Don't you have stuff you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, I'm going to type on the...
I'm
type Twittering or something.
Type on your Twitters, your tweets. Lex came in with a dog collar that uses NeoPixels, and he sewed NeoPixels into a dog collar and then added a vibration sensor and a trinket. And so as the dog is more active, the dog was a little sleepy at the time of the photo taken, but when the dog gets up and is active, it will start lighting up and blinking, and it's basically like, you know, an activity monitor for dogs. It just blinks. So that's a good idea. Virgil came in and had some historic stuff to show off. He had a 001 manual key punch from 1901, and it was built, I don't even remember the name of the company that made it, but it had a name card, nameplate, because, you know, all machines had nameplates with serial numbers punched in, and it had the nameplate of the company. And it was, what was it, like the Counting Machines Company or something? Or like, I don't remember the name of the company. But he said the company actually, in 1911, merged with another company, which then merged with another company. And so in the 1930s became IBM. So this is two companies previous to IBM. It was a manual key punch for 40-column key punch cards. And then in 1901, that was then, those used for tabulations. And then became 80 key punch cards with electronic key punch, and then finally became IBM as we know it. So this is, you know, he had his grandfather worked for IBM, or his father worked for IBM?
Yeah.
And so he got it from like some IBM archive history box something and cleaned it up. And so this is like an heirloom. This is heirloom key punch that he's carried on through the years.
Yeah, there is such a thing of heirloom electronics now. It's a thing.
Yeah, pre-electronics even.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful machine. This and the analog multimeter that Tony has, we can basically recreate society.
Okay.
And then Igitier came in and showed off a really cool like a work box that was a transportable work box, and it had like hinges and like it could roll. It was like a suitcase, but when you open it up, it's actually had
it was his first makerspace before he got a makerspace.
Yeah, it was like a suitcase-sized makerspace. You open it up and it had like tools, it had a vise, and it had like storage locations. And then you're done, you close it, and you can like put it away. And so like you know, if you wanted to like have a little workspace, but you didn't want to muck up your nice kitchen table maybe, or you only had one table and you couldn't clamp a vise onto it, you would use this system. Check it out. And he now has it as his makerspace that he then made. So he has mini makerspace and then big makerspace, mini and large. And then finally C. Scott came by and showed off some old stuff that he's got. He also had a kit that he made when he was 12, the Pi Gnome kit. I guess Pi is not even around anymore. I didn't even realize that. But I guess they used to make synthesizer kits.
Yeah.
And he made a Pi Gnome kit, and he said, you know, it was something that he made when he was a kid, so he's redesigning it in EagleCAD so that his son, or daughter, I don't know, actually child, can make it, now age 12.
Yeah.
So passing on the family legacy of making analog synth kits, and also showed off a 101 electronics kit, and also a nice panel for the Chrobia X.
I thought I noticed something that C. Scott was doing, and there's another person that I follow like online. His name's Andy, and his son is getting into video games, and so he's starting him at the very beginning of video games. So you have to work your way up from like Atari 2600.
Okay, so you have to like play Pong, and then you can get like Commodore 64,
yeah,
2600, play Marble Madness.
So with like these synth and like music, like working your way up seems like a great way, because you can compress all the things that a lot of us had to do over the course of 20 years into maybe 20 months, and you appreciate it more. You can see the evolution of all that.
Yeah, instead of being like 30 frames per second, this sucks. Be like, go back to when it was like 5 frames per second.
Yeah.
Like Frogger. Like go forward one sprite at a time.
So all participants on the show and tell get an as seen on the show and tell sticker. Just email support@adafruit.com and we will send you an actual real sticker in the mail. Lady Ada, how do people get on the show and tell?
If you would like to show off your cool retro historic kit, analog synth, key punch, IBM, $5 box of Wellers, you can.
Yeah.
Or just like your electronics project. Like it used to be like people with Arduino projects, now it's expanded to like 3D printed
Cover
stuff,
everything.
cosplay. We gotta cover everything. If you think it's cool, come by, shut off, whatever. Go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit and find the thread where we say comment here to get added to the show and tell circle. And then you comment there with your little avatar-y thing, and you have to have a Google Plus login. And then we will add you. We'll say, hey, you're added. We'll add you to the show and tell circle. And that way, every single week, we will invite you to the show and tell. Please note that the show and tells get full very fast nowadays. So if you want to join up, please do so early. So be ready when we hit the invite button at 7:30.
And also remember that we do this every week. So it's totally,
if you don't make it in 1 week, it's totally cool.
Yeah, it's fine.
Come back next week.
And then
We'll be here for 10 years.
Yeah. One last note too. So someone noticed, we have all these hackerspaces, and they said they don't have a hackerspace near them. Check out our article on learn.adafruit.com about making your own hackerspace. I actually think it's one of the best opportunities when someone doesn't have a hackerspace, because it means that they can start one. If there's already one existing, it's great, it's fun and everything, but if you really want to work on something that can have a really large impact that you personally can participate in, starting your own local hackerspace is one. So anyways, check out the Learn guide that we have on that. It's time for Packet the Mailbag. This is Packet. Hi, I'm Packet. I have letters. Packet the Mailbag is our emails and letters and all sorts of things we get. We have a weekly meeting called State of the Fruit that the entire company is part of. We tell everybody about what we're spending money on, what we're doing, all our plans, and we also read emails from you, the folks out there. This one is from Robert. Just wanted to drop a line and say the new site is impressive. The collection of functional and innovative products is enticing. You just became my #1 supplier for hobby electronics. Thank you for your efforts. Particularly like the quotes at the bottom, Robert. And Robert's referring to our, if you go to adafruit.com/quotes, we have inspirational quotes from engineers, scientists, artists, engineers. Lady Ada, what was the one that you put on there? Sometimes life doesn't give you a data sheet.
Sometimes in life you do not get a data sheet.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
so,
people are always like, do you have a data sheet for like
Yeah.
this like 60-year-old op-amp like simulator
Yeah. And-
like breadboard that you found? I'm like, no, I don't. Sometimes you don't get a data sheet. Sometimes
and so the
you just gotta
quotes,
deal with it.
we also put those on the invoices because when I used to unpack all the boxes of stuff when we make kits, I thought invoices are really boring. When we do our invoices, let's do something neat that I want to remember. So we have, if you buy something from Adafruit, you get these cool quotes and stuff.
In fact, we have termed it Innovoice.
Innovoice. Innovation and invoices. Yeah.
Innovation plus invoices. Innovoice.
Yeah. Sometimes people email says that you spelled an invoice wrong because it's on the URL, but it's right.
No,
So,
it's
okay.
correct. It's Innovoice.
Help wanted.
We're not going to patent that, so
Nope.
go to town.
Yeah. So we have the Adafruit jobs word, adafruit.com/jobs, and it's the place where anyone can post up their maker jobs if they're a cool company that wants makers to work for them, or if you have maker skills. You're someone who wants a job and you have skills up there. Lady Ada and I approve the jobs. There's no headhunters or weird things or anything sketchy.
No scams, nothing.
No scams or nothing. It's just people.
No
posting up.
Fortran jobs. No what?
So this week, this is a firmware and Android developer. This person is in Lisbon, and they say, I'm finishing up my master's in computer science while already working for 4 years in embedded systems and Linux programming, mostly with PIC and ARM microcontrollers using custom-made and commercial boards, Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Add me on LinkedIn or email me, and we can talk more detail. Now, this is a really interesting thing because we get asked all the time, Adafruit, I have ideas, or can I hire you as a contractor, or will you do consulting? I need firmware help, I need Android help. And so what we do is check out the jobs board. There's people out there that want to do that, and they're already probably an Adafruit customer, so that's exactly the right
Totally,
type
that's
person
the
you
way to
want.
go. Because we would love to help you with your Kickstarter, but we just can't. We have about 20 requests a day to help people with
Yeah, we can do that.
with their Kickstarter projects. But you can hire someone, a fine engineer such as this one, or many other people on the jobs
Yeah.
board. They will help you with your project, your product, your finals, exam thing. Who knows? They're available.
So that's the jobs board. Next up, a little special shout out. We're getting all the Christmas cards and holiday cards and all the things in the mail from all the people we work with. So UPS sent us this great card. And I really like to look at design of things. And so this was neat. It's very subtle, but on the background, if you look close at the UPS card, there is a truck and a plane and a barge and a little shield. They did such a good job on the card this year. It's a little UPS truck in the snowflake. That's so cool.
Meep, meep.
Yeah. So I thought that was really neat. So we got that one in the mail so far. Also, we got a DigiKey poster. This is from production to prototype. This is a 2015 calendar that they sent us. This is it's a whiteboard calendar, so it comes with a little marker that you can erase. And that's Teddy. Teddy's in charge of a lot of the important accounts here at Adafruit. So thank you.
Teddy also looks very tall compared to me.
Teddy is very tall.
I know.
And so that's the things that we got in the mail so far. We'll post up more. Palolu just sent us something. I'll post up soon.
Yeah.
Next up, open source hardware. Some news in the world of open source hardware. You ready? Big news. As far as I know, this is the first comprehensive book on building open source hardware. This is from Alicia Gibb. And for the folks who know Adafruit and the show that we've been doing for a long time, Alicia's been on the show. She was the co-founder of the Open Source Hardware Summit. She's the president of the Open Source Hardware Association, and now she has a book.
And
I saw this on the Flickr feed. Hey,
she's like she's like a cornerstone. She started at
Bug Labs.
Bug Labs, which is like the first open source hardware startup.
So this is the big deal because we get asked, when will open source hardware be mainstream? Is there like resources and everything? So this book is out. It's available now on. Is anyone allowed to sell books besides Amazon? Yeah, there's other places.
We're going to carry it, right?
Yeah, we have it on order.
We have an order.
Yeah.
It hasn't come in yet, but it's on order.
But I think you can get it on Kindle and stuff like that too.
You can also get it on Amazon.
All right, next up, and other open source hardware news, we have all of our gift guides that we're doing. So this week, we have, don't know what to get the maker in your life, Adafruit gift certificates. We have the Gawkin holiday gift guide. We have the LEDs. We have the holiday music guide, and then we have the Bluetooth guide. So what we do is we try to highlight open source hardware projects.
Okay, we're at the Bluetooth guide. That's great.
Yeah. For the Bluetooth lover.
He actually knows the most about Bluetooth. So like, if you have any interest in Bluetooth stuff, he probably knows the answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next up, Adafruit Learning System. Learned at adafruit.com. We have 664 tutorials right now. This week, we just published this one. Lady Ada, which one is this?
Okay. This is a new tutorial by Erin, and I want to get her last name right. St. Blaine.
Oh, I can turn.
So can you? I don't want to. I hate
St. Blaine.
New people. Okay, Erin St. Blaine, and she made a really glamorous fake fur LED scarf where it has the electronics embedded in the scarf, and it has glow patterns and has a switch so you can change the different patterns. This is kind of a fun, sort of festive scarf. It's not too difficult a project to make. There's a little bit of soldering involved. You can have a gemma and some buttons, but basically it's a great project if you want to like go to parties or you go out. And she says she has a lot of fun. She likes to make cosplay projects, so this might be useful in a cosplay or costume or Burning Man or Halloween.
Okay.
Or
next up,
wedding.
You just finished this tutorial. This is the haptic controller breakout.
Yeah, this is the breakout for the TI chip, the DRV2605, which is a very interesting haptic controller breakout that uses I2C, and it controls a vibration motor or an ERM motor. I don't know that much about those, but I do know about the vibration motors. And basically, it's like the kind of like the thing in your phone that makes like, it doesn't just buzz, it makes like buzz waveforms. Like it can actually give you weird effects with the buzzing by reducing and increasing the vibration level. So it's like a very advanced vibration motor driver. And it's like designed for like handheld games or phones or whatever. But I thought it'd be useful for people who are doing projects, especially ones that have haptic feedback and stuff. It has a library of all these effects built into it. So you just say like, okay, I want like it to sweep up and then like do a double tap and then sweep down, and it will actually like do that for you, and it will also do audio. So I just did a write-up about this breakout, which is a new product.
Okay. Next up, this is a really fun one. This is from Mike Brella, the author of Getting Started with Adafruit Trinket. He shows you how to make your own Han Solo blaster cosplay using our Adafruit soundboard.
That's not him. That's just a screenshot of Han Solo. I mean, maybe he kind of looks like that a little bit, Brella. A little bit.
I thought Harrison Ford wrote the Trinket book.
That would be cool.
Yeah. and I thought Mike Brell was going to be in the next Star Wars. Sometimes I get things mixed up.
Hand soldered
Okay.
first. Okay, so that's the That's
Oh, that's funny. You said hand soldered first because there's that thing, the hand soldered first. You're really funny.
no. I
No,
just
that was very fast. If
No.
that was funny.
okay.
What is
I'm the engineer, not the comedian.
No, you're funny. That's good. You are so fast. It takes me a lot of effort to keep up with
Maybe
you.
you're just slow today. I don't know. Usually you're very fast.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Usually you have like 8 Stargate jokes by now.
Yeah, I'm the quota, like, bing, bing. I'm only up to 2 today. Okay, so anyways, there's this tutorial. Maybe you
Okay.
can tell everybody about it. But,
Oh yeah, it's a. So I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a tutorial for taking this toy Han Solo blaster that you see there. It's like the yellow and orange one, and he says like the sound effects like kind of suck. So what he did is he opened it up and he put in a sound effects board that we make, and he put in like really high quality clips that are basically ripped from like a DVD. So it sounds exactly like the blaster, and it like has a
That's
much
cool.
better sound, and he has an amplifier with a nice speaker, and then he spray painted it, and he kind of just goes through the process of making this blaster. Maybe he cosplays as Han Solo, which would be cool.
That's cool. Okay, and next up. Smart bathroom.
This is a project by a team of people who, it's not only Michael
Yeah.
Serpansky, but it's like 2 other people who, like, if you look at the tutorial, they're on the bottom.
Really cool Spark Core project.
Yeah, this is our start of doing some Spark IOCA's projects. So this is using the Spark Core. And what's neat about this is it's a very basic project. And like some people are like, it's kind of a useful project, but also demonstrates a lot of different things that you can do with the Spark Core. It's a Wi-Fi enabled microcontroller that you program over Wi-Fi and also easily connects to the internet. So this is, it connects to our door switch, and so it knows when a door has been opened or closed. And you can also connect up a PIR sensor, so it detects a person.
Yeah.
And then it uses a NeoPixel matrix, so it can show like X when like bathroom occupied, or green check when somebody is, not inside, so you can go ahead to the bathroom. And not only that, it will also host a web page, so it'll tell you, like they have a web page, so you can have it like in your, if you want to check if the bathroom is available. Like let's say you are in the bathroom's on the 2nd floor, you work on the 1st floor, you don't want to trek all the way up if there's only like one bathroom, if
Yeah.
you only have like 15 people in your office. So this way you can check a web page. But if you don't have bathroom problems, this could be used for almost anything. Like if you want to detect if someone's entered your room, or if you want to detect that like somebody hasn't, or like if your cat is inside or like it's still locked outside. So all these different projects where you want to detect a person or motion or door opening and closing, this is a good project.
Okay, that was favorite learning system. We have a lot of good tutorials that are currently being worked on too. You guys will be surprised next week. I think there's going to be some cool ones. Time Travel Tuesday. So we cover things that happen in the world of art, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, you name it.
IBM history.
IBM history, Adafruit history. This one is kind of special. So I don't know about you, but I'm a Philip K. Dick fan. He was born in 1928, and probably best known for what people have done with his stories. Mm-hmm. And so in his time, he did 44 novels. He did 121 short stories. And for people out there, the works that were based on his stuff, you might remember Blade Runner, Total Recall, Scanner Darkly, Minority Report, Paycheck, Next, Screamers, The Adjustment Bureau, The Imposter. 2005, he was named Ubik, one of the 100 greatest English language novels published since 1923. One of the neat things that he had said is he wants to write about people I love and put them in a fictional world spun out of my own mind, not the world that we actually have, because the world we actually have does not meet my standards. Dick wrote of many of his stories. In my writing, I even question the universe. I wonder out loud if it's real. I wonder out loud if us are real. Such a incredible mind with stories that really inspire you to think about the future of technology in lots of ways. They're doing a Blade Runner sequel or prequel or whatever it is. But every time I talk to a really prolific maker or someone out there who's working on something big, they always talk about some of the science fiction stories that got them thinking in different ways. So anyways, happy birthday,
Philip K. Dick.
Next up, wearables. So a lot of you know we have a lot of ambitions here at Adafruit, and one of the things that we would like to do is a Broadway show. Maybe it'll be Circuit Playground. It'll be a musical, And this is the first of maybe many musical notes that we'll be doing. And take it away, Becky.
Hey Colin, could you hand me my fabric scissors?
Sure. Which ones are those?
The large silver-handled ones.
These are quite nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, in fact, these are some of my favorite tools. Rulers and pliers and orange highlighters, really sharp knives made by Olfa and Fiskars, conductive fibers all wound up on spools. These are a few of my favorite tools. Circuit boards, stencil wipes, solderless breadboards, AC adapters with long USB cords, auto range meters that count up the joules. These are a few of my favorite tools. Trimming my nails with my flush Hacko snippers, bright stranded wire and switches on zippers, dangerous torches with pages of rules. These are a few of my favorite tools. When there's blue smoke, when the thread jams,
When blue colors out,
I simply remember my favorite tools, 'cause that's what this song's about. Hey, thanks.
I watched Colin's reaction. That's like 50 times. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. So that's the start. Get your tickets now for Adafruit, the musical.
I don't want to sing.
You've got to sing.
No, I'm gonna lip sync.
Okay.
Can I have the soundboard just play my lines? I'd be able to do that.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Next, 3D. Okay, so we got a couple things going on in the world of 3D. First up, don't forget, tomorrow is 3D Thursday. All the best news online on the Adafruit blog. And we have our 3D Thursday Hangout at 3 p.m. with Matt, Noah, and Pedro. We have our Lulzbot Task Force sale going on. The freedom to print, the only 100% open source 3D printer out there, certified by the FSF. So that's on sale right now and has nothing to do with our normal discount. So do know that that we're continuing to raise the here's the open source printer you guys want flag.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
If you want an open source printer, this is the one. This is probably like the only one really that's truly open source
Yeah, I think there's other ones, but they're
that you can
they're
buy.
kits. Yeah, they're like kits,
Yeah.
and they're not functioning supported ones. I think the last week on one of the shows, the company is successful. They're selling millions of dollars worth of open source 3D printers.
People want it.
Very cool.
Turns out that's a market.
Turns out.
Good for them.
And here is this week's 3D printed video. This is a DIY monitor mount for a camera.
Hey everybody, Noah here for Adafruit. Today's project we're going to show you how to build a DIY monitor for DSLR cameras, or really any device that uses HDMI. So we've designed and we've 3D printed a custom enclosure that's going to house this awesome display and other components to build a low-cost DIY project that we're going to show you how to build in this video. So let's check it out. Say hi, Pedro. Using a monitor is a really helpful tool, especially when trying to get a shot. Size really does make a big difference. When everything's nice and in front of you, you can get cool shots. And we really use one on every one of our projects when we're filming. So when you're trying to get a shot that's directly top down, it's really important that you can see your work. And when you're doing macro shots, like when you're soldering, it's really important and nice to have a monitor. So it's definitely the way to go. So in this project, we're using our Adafruit HDMI 5-inch display backpack. It's really a small panel mountable HDMI monitor. It works with any device that has HDMI output, and it has these cool mounting tabs, so it's easy to attach it to any case or railing with mounting screws. And the backpack features a TFP 401 for decoding video, so it's pretty much plug and play. Pro DSLR monitors can cost anywhere from $100 to $600, but this display is only going to set you back $60. Our 3D printed enclosure prints with no support material and just 2.5 hours with PLA material. We designed the enclosure in 123D Design, so you are free to download and customize this for your projects. To power the display, we're using a camera battery holder with a DC buck converter, so it basically regulates the voltage so the display can be safely powered by rechargeable camera batteries. Really convenient there. The screen also has dimming brightness features, so you can save power when you're out in the sun. You just wire up a slide switch to easily turn it on and off. We definitely encourage you to check out the guide on the Adafruit Learning System for a full tutorial. You get the full assembly instructions and circuit diagram. Now, if you don't have a 3D printer, don't worry. We encourage you to check out 3dhubs.com. It's a great directory of local 3D printing operators, and these dudes will get your parts printed for reasonable prices. So this is a really great display for DIY projects like monitoring aerial drone shots, maybe some mobile gaming, and of course, video production and photography. So we want to hear what you guys think of this project, so you can let us know in the comments below. And please check out the guide on the Adafruit Learning System and like and share this video if you dig our projects. It lets us know you want to see more cool things from Adafruit. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for weekly updates. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
All right, and for Pi News, we have a bunch of Raspberry Pi stuff, so I'm saving that for the new product section.
Okay.
And then
do it all at once.
And then we also, a couple of people asked about the hats for Hat-A-Day. Look at our Hat-A-Day section. You can see all the upcoming things.
You gotta do that.
So
well, tons of hats.
Yeah, so before we get going into new products, don't forget the code's favorite, 10% off in the Adafruit store. Be very aware of the shipping holiday deadlines. I suggest you do next day or second day or 3 day for anything personally, because UPS get a package. Even the guarantees go away.
The guarantees are suspended for the holiday season because it's incredibly busy and the weather is really bad usually. So don't wait until the very last minute to order something.
Yeah.
Really, like, don't do it. Not suggested. Not because we just want to buy from us, but really, you will be sad if you order on the 23rd.
Pro tip, at 100 free perma proto, 150 trinket 5 volt, 200 UPS ground,
Lost supplies,
250 pro trinket 5. We're almost out of all these, so we're not going to be able to do that soon. So Lady Ada, with all that being said, it's time to do
new products.
It's new product time. Okay, so we have updates to the Onion Pi Pack. This is we mentioned this last week, but now we have all the photos and everything. So what did you update?
This is the Onion Pi Pack with the big antenna, and it now comes with the Model B Plus and our nice B Plus case. We also went through the tutorial and made sure it worked with the latest Raspbian, so it is good to go. And then the parts list, you can see the parts in the next photo. Got Ethernet cable, console cable, one of our nice power supplies, Raspberry Pi Model B Plus. Because you need Ethernet, you can't use an A Plus for this project. Case, SD card, and Wi-Fi.
And the other one?
And then the other one, we upgraded the little Wi-Fi chip into like a stick one, which we found that people are having difficulty sometimes. The little one, it doesn't have the best range, so we wanted to upgrade to the stick. So just basically same parts except as a smaller Wi-Fi chip. And we even lowered the price because we've been able to get better pricing on stuff. So I think it's like $10 less now even to get the Onion Pi Pack. So build an Onion Pi.
Yeah, and I guess just a side note, and you can do it in a sentence or so. What is Tor?
Tor is, in this case, Tor is acting as an anonymizing proxy so that your IP address doesn't show up on the computer that you're accessing. So what the Onion Pi does is you connect the Ethernet cable from the Raspberry Pi to your cable modem or your Wi-Fi router or whatever, and then the Onion Pi acts as a Wi-Fi router on its own. But any traffic that comes in on the Wi-Fi adapter, like your tablet or your phone or your Kindle, anything that you want that doesn't normally allow you to like run a Tor proxy on it, you can connect to this Wi-Fi module, this Wi-Fi router, and it will automatically anonymize your information.
Like if you have an iPad or something that doesn't run Tor, you can't
run Tor.
You can use this.
Or like a Chromebook or whatever, anything where you have no control over the ability to, if you install Tor, of course. You don't have to buy anything for that.
Yeah.
But if you want to have it be a Wi-Fi router as well, that can allow you to use Wi-Fi, then this is where it comes in very handy.
And one note, Lady Ada and I had exactly like 2 hours of free time on Sunday, and so we decided to go see Citizen 4. And it's the Edward Snowden story. No matter what you think about the whole thing that happened, you have to watch it if you're a technologist, because they presented everything on how PGP is used and how encryption is used and all the steps that had to happen. It's fascinating just on that front alone, and it's a very interesting story. So,
and he had a Tor sticker.
Yeah, and he had a Tor sticker on his laptop. So, anyways, that was kind of interesting. So, it's a movie that you liked it, I liked it. I thought it was an interesting movie that was documenting a modern technology thing, and there was no like fake flying through servers and everything. Like the movie's Hackers is fun, but it's like, campy in that way. This is actually a documentary about something that happened.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next up, what are these?
This is a 20 by 2 dual pin socket. Actually, the next photo is a little bit clearer what it is.
Okay.
It's what you can plug in an IDC cable, like the Raspberry Pi GPIO cable, and it acts as a socket. So it's the other side. So if you would like to make a circuit board that a Raspberry Pi would connect to, this way you can run the cable from the Pi to the socket. You can also solder it into our hats, so you can, from the top, instead of the connector that comes with it, if you want to run a cable instead. We'll show how to do that later. But it's just a basic connector. We use it in our Pi cobblers and such. So if you basically want to do that without the cobbler part, then this is a basic connector that you can use.
Okay. Next up, what are these little things?
Sockets.
Sockets.
We finally have sockets in the store. We've been using these. They're some of the oldest components we use. We use them in all our kits. But now we finally have them on their own, and you get them in 3 packs. This is 8-pin sockets, 2 by 4 pins.
Can we call our show Sockets? And now it is time we dance. Do, 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 do. Okay, nah.
Okay.
I guess we'll keep calling Ask an Engineer. All right, so that you can put them on these things.
So you can solder them into a Perm Proto, for example. That's what they're best used for. They should not be used with a solderless breadboard because the pins, well, first off, solderless breadboards, you can already plug in sockets and then remove them. Yeah. But this basically allows you to solder in a socket instead of the chip. It's the same size as the chip, and that way if you have to remove the chip to reprogram it or because it got damaged or you put it in backwards, you can do that very easily with a socket. And sockets are very inexpensive compared to chips, so it is recommended.
So we got a bunch of other sockets. You want to go through each one?
Yeah, this is a 14-pin socket, 2x7. You can just click through.
Yeah.
This is for bigger chips. Usually logic chips are usually this big. Some small microcontrollers. This is 2x8, 16-pin socket, I believe, or is it 2x? Hold on, I gotta look to make sure what I got.
Gotta get your sockets
I got 2x8. I got 2x, is it 20? Sorry, that was a 16-pin, and then this is a 20-pin.
Okay, and then I got more.
Okay, these are the weird ones. So this is a 2x14. This is a 28-pin socket, but it's the wide kind. And sometimes you get EEPROMs, especially, or some like ASICs, some older chips. If you want to use them, they come, and also some 7-segment displays. I've known some LED displays. You can use a 0.6-inch wide 28-pin socket. Okay, and then this is so then there's the 40-pin 40-pin 0.6-inch sockets. These are for really big chips. We use it for like a Parallax propeller or like at Mega, 8051 or whatever. Some really big chips, especially like, you can see here, these chunky chips, they tend to use 40-pin chips, often have 0.6-inch spacing. And then we also, we didn't get a photo of the 28-pin wide. It's okay, I'll show it on the overhead.
Quick, to the overhead.
There's one more socket, but I also get to show all the different sizes of sockets in a row.
Thank goodness we have this overhead.
So this is the 40-pin, so you can see the big chips. And then we also have the 28-pin wide. And then we also have the 28-pin narrow, which is like used with the Mega 28. Oh, wait, one second, let me do a lock. So this is the same number of pins, but this is the wide version and skinny version. Do not confuse these because this happens a lot and people are sad. And there's some LPC chips come with this width as well, some NXP LPC chips. And then we have, this is the 20-pin, and this is the 8-pin, and this is the 16-pin. So I kind of got the biggest size. So you're like, well, why don't you carry like every single size? Well, that's a good point. So basically I tried
Why don't you carry every single size?
Because I just want to carry stuff. I wanted to carry the most common sizes, but here's the trick. You don't actually have to use all the different pins. So if you have something that's a 14-pin chip, you can use a 26-pin socket, and you can just cut it off with like, the legs that you don't need to use. So, whatever. Like these are the most popular ones. If there's a chip that like really would benefit from having a socket, we'll try to carry it. But these are the only sockets I've ever really needed in my life. The 8-pin ones are like super common. 28-pin for at Mega chips, and then these for like logic chips or other little AT-tiny chips. And this is for like EEPROMs or like weird chips, and then this is for like propellers and and larger chips. So you got all the different sockets, and they come in a pack of 3, and they come in foam so that when you get them, the pins are nice and straight,
Okay.
ready to go.
All right.
Socket to me.
I think the most, I mean, we have a couple more products to go,
Okay.
but I want to spend a little bit of time on this because we might run out of time tonight. So this is probably the most asked about product recently. So
We've been getting 3 emails a day
yeah,
asking us to carry
and
this.
it's this really low cost Wi-Fi thing, and we have it in the store. We're loading it up with the latest and greatest firmware. I guess before you say what it is, why do you think people are just going bonkers over these?
This is like basically the lowest cost way to add Wi-Fi to like an Arduino microcontroller type thing. Like a Raspberry Pi, you should just grab a USB Wi-Fi dongle because it's like, it's USB and it's easy and the drivers are included. But this is like a it's a UART to Wi-Fi converter chip, and it's basically extremely low cost. Like these little modules are only a couple bucks. So we picked up a bunch of these modules and we used them a bit, and we found that the default firmware they come with, that kind of sucks. But we found some other firmware, and we tried all the different ones, and we found one that like it's kind of like the least sucky of all of them. And basically, it's low cost, but it's not low power, and it's also not super easy to use. Like you can kind of use it; it kind of works. Like it works, but it's just not. It's not like hardened, and it's not. It's for hobbyists. It's not like I wouldn't put this in a product. Definitely. The chip itself has FCC certification, but like this module, for example, has not been. So it's for experimenters and hobbyists and people who want to like play around with it.
Does it work like a Trinket Pro if you wanted to work it?
You could use it with a Trinket Pro. You probably need level shifting for the 5-volt Trinket against 3-volt power, 3-volt logic. It uses a lot of power, so you need an external regulator. So there's like, we don't have a tutorial for it yet. There's a great website that we link to in the tutorial, in the product page that has tutorials. It's a little, it works. Here's like my example. I use these wires because you can't plug into a breadboard. I think it's an interesting chip. We'll have some, I wrote some like code that really works quite well for it, and it's up on GitHub. So if you're using these modules, do check out my code because I tried all the other code out there, and like it was okay, but I think I wrote better code that lets you use software serial and like gets the data, and you can parse it very quickly, and it grabs a web page. Okay. So right now we're just carrying it for experimentation, hobbyist use. We don't have a tutorial quite yet. We don't really guarantee that it's going to solve your problems. We don't really guarantee.
This might cause more problems in your life.
It might cause more problems in your life. But we get these and we load these up with the latest firmware, and we actually do some tests on them. We program it and then test it. Yeah. So when you're getting it from us, you actually that it's at least going to work with our code. Okay. So enjoy. We'll maybe make a little breakout helper or another chip. Anyway, we'll do some more with this, but this is just to get people started, and do check it out. Maybe we'll do a tutorial later.
All right. Next up. This is that haptic thing that you're working on, right?
Yeah, this is the haptic chip I talked about earlier. This is the DRV2605. This is a haptic motor driver. It drives a vibration motor, and it has effects built into it. It's like about 100 different effects, like double click and like pulse on and off and like ramp up and ramp down and like all these different effects and like sinusoidal, and it can also like take audio and turn that into an audio to vibration effect board. And uses I2C, and you can basically, instead of you having to deal with having a motor driver, because these motors like still need motor drivers, it's kind of a motor driver, controller, library, all-in-one chip. It's kind of an all-in-one chip that sort of does everything. You solder on a vibration or a haptic motor onto the little pads over there, and then you control over I2C. And I can just show, you guys won't be able to feel this because we don't have Feel-O-Vision, but
not yet.
Not yet.
Chrome version 50 has Feel-O-Vision. It's in beta.
So I can kind of make it like vibrate.
I can hear it.
Yeah, maybe I'll put it up to my mic. So you can hear it's kind of doing zoop.
It's an electronic frog.
So that's like, so it's vibrating up and then clicking. So you can tile together a bunch of different effects, and it will go through the effects in order as you want. You can do like a lot of different weird stuff. So you can use it like in handheld games, or it's used in phones, or tablets or whatever. That was kind of an interesting chip because it does something that I've never seen another chip do. There are motor drivers, and you could kind of do this on your own, but this chip like does it all for you. It's very nice, a very fancy chip.
Next up, this is kind of interesting story. Leslie, who works with Becky and our wearable electronics department, suggested that we check this cool kit out. She told the makers came on the show and tell, we liked the kit so much, we said, hey, we want to stock this. And now we have it, and that was the thing that you were wearing. It is a skull kit, and here is Shalise.
skull.
Shalise works in our kitting department. She assembled one. She's also a jeweler herself. So we
That's
said,
right.
make sure this is a cool kit. So she liked it. We liked it. We decided to stock it, and we like skulls. So this is the...
Yeah, can we go to the overhead? Because it's small. I gotta show it on the overhead.
Let's go to the overhead.
Okay, so it's a PCB kit, and this one's fully assembled, but it comes as a kit normally. And it's like a skull effect. It has these LEDs, and what's cool is there's no battery. It actually uses a super cap right here. And you can see these little jewel-looking things. Those are actually solar cells. So it has a little LED blinky. Maybe it's like a 555. I'm actually not 100% sure what it is because it's kind of covered right now. And it you can charge the super cap using the solar cell. So if you're outside or if you have bright office lighting, you can charge it that way. Or you can just plug it into USB and it will charge the super cap instantly. And then you can turn it on and it will blink the eyes. I don't know if we can get the blinking to show up.
Blinky blink.
Hold on. You know what? I should probably charge it before I... Let me try charging it. Blink. Come on. Oh no. I think I didn't. I think I have to charge it for a few seconds. I'll come back to it, but it was blinking
Yeah,
earlier.
I can see it.
I know, I
right
was
there.
wearing it for the entire show. So you can
Yeah.
do solar or you can charge it over USB. It takes a couple seconds. It'll charge it up. And it's a necklace that you can wear. It doesn't come with a cord, but you can use like any cord
Okay.
with it.
Hey, do you want to try now before I go?
I just can't quite see that.
Yeah, it was blinking.
Oh, you know what? Oh, there you go. Sorry. I had the switch on the off position. So you go, blinking back
blink,
and forth.
blink, blink.
So it just blinks the eyes quite nicely.
Yeah, it's cool.
You can see maybe.
Okay, and if you want to get it,
Blink.
here's a nice photo, close up, and this is what it looks like on a person. Next up, we have
Okay, so
a book.
I gotta wear this.
Sylvia's Super Awesome Project Book Volume 2, Super Simple Arduino. If you're looking for one of the best beginner books out there from an amazing maker, there's photos of you and Sylvia. We've seen her at maker fairs many years, and Sylvia is one of the rising maker stars, so she has all these cool projects that you can do with an Arduino. If you go to the Make site, you can see the Sylvia Super Awesome show.
That cartoon Arduino.
And-
It's a very basic book,
Yeah,
but it's also good. Like sometimes you want something very simple, especially something very kid friendly, to get a young person or a young
Written-
at heart person.
written
Sometimes.
by a young maker for young makers. So this is a really good book. It's selling really fast too. So we have an email out to Sylvia and her folks. We want to make a little pack that goes along with it. So email us, call us. We'd like to do that. Next up. This is one of the best maker skills books out there.
This is a beautiful,
This is
beautiful
from
book.
Chris Hackett, Popular Science. I used to be contributing editor there, and I can tell you that they make the best magazines, resource books, everything. This is a beautiful, gorgeous book with amazing photography, and it's probably, I'm just going to call it the best, if you want to go on the overhead.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's the best design maker book out there that I've seen recently. It is gorgeous. The layout, the typography, everything about it is just fantastic.
It's a really, really, really beautiful book, and we get a lot of books in here. And not that they're not all beautiful, but we definitely, like the design and readability of a book is really important because if you're not going to actually read it, it's not that important. It's not that useful. So this is a book that has really great diagrams, has beautiful layout, so it shows you all the tools at once, all the different kinds of wrenches.
Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. No,
We'll have to
we're
zoom-
zoomed out all the way.
Yeah, I have to, it's tough. It's actually a big book.
It's a big book.
The pages are nice and thick, and it's all in color, and there's great photos, and I really, really, really like this book, and the cover's embossed very beautifully. This is a really, really nice book. Really, really nice. Like whoever designed this and worked on it.
Yeah, Popular Science. They make
Cared
good
a
stuff.
lot.
Okay, and then these are, last but not least, we have two
Hats.
pie hats. So these are kind of the stars of the show, Lady Ada. What are these pie hats?
Okay, it's time for the pie hat party to begin. Quite a while ago, I started designing some hats. We have approximately 10 hats in progress, various levels of progress from thought to now in the store. And this is the first one. We want to start with a proto hat because, hey, you know, time to prototype. So we have two flavors of this hat. One has an EEPROM and one does not. This one doesn't. And then if you did, it would have little black stuff in the corner. And every hat from the Raspberry Pi Foundation has a standard, like you have to have an EEPROM, and then when you plug it in, the Pi can know what hat's plugged in, because it looks for the EEPROM soldered on. But that means you can't stack two hats because the EEPROMs collide in the address space. So we have a version that doesn't have the EEPROM, and so you can solder on an EEPROM later if you'd like, or you can just use it for prototyping, and if you don't want to have to use the hat manager, that's cool. And then for people who do want to have an EEPROM on there so they can make a custom hat and then use the hat tools that the Pi Foundation has released to make it so the Pi knows what it's connected to and maybe sets up the GPIOs and like loads modules and device trees and stuff based on what it is on the proto board. We have that version as well. So let's explain the two different versions.
Let's go to the, we have some beautiful photos as always, but let's also just look at it.
Okay.
Live.
So this is the PCB as you get it, and this one has the EEPROM down here, so you can see this little chunk of stuff over here. It says the EEPROM and then the resistors. So this version has it, and then I think this version, which is soldered, does not. And it comes as just the PCB and a socket. And the reason it does not come assembled is because we want to make it so you can easily replace the header with a stackable header or extra tall header. Also, we have various different types of headers that you might want to connect. Like, can you go to, we have one photo with the stacking header. I think it's that one. Yeah. Yeah. Can you hide me?
No, I don't want to hide you.
Okay, but maybe.
I'm gonna move
okay.
this off to the side maybe.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right, you can kind of see it. So you see how the pins, like right here, are extra long? That means you can stack another hat on top. You can plug in a GPIO cable. So if you want, you can pick up one of those and solder it in instead. Basically the same as the stacking headers that we use for Arduino shields, but this is a stacking header for hats. And so I do this when I want to like prototype something, but also have like a Pi TFT display on top. So, and you can also like, debug and clip onto the hats as necessary, the GPI pins as necessary. So we have this really beautiful white silk screen, and it's got all the pins except for number 26 brought out. Number 26 doesn't make it. There's not enough space.
Yeah.
It has gold pads. This is the connector. It has the mounting holes. It has slots for the cable and camera. And then on the back, you can see the connection grid. So it uses basically the same kind of grid as a breadboard, where all these pins are rows. And then we also have power and ground rails over here, and they're also marked here quite nicely. This is the ground rail. And it's hard to see here, but in the photo you can see it, but there's a red line or a blue line that goes all the way through, and black lines that go through this way. So you can see, without having to flip it over, what's connected to what. So this is very basic. It's low cost, very simple hat. I wanted to get as much prototyping space while also letting all the slots through and having the EEPROM. So it's a basic hat. We'll be coming up with more hats, but this is the first hat.
Yeah, I like how it...
And that was your hat of the day.
Yeah, and I like how you thought about all the types of projects that people would do with it, and then you made these hats around that. So
yeah, it works on the A+ or the B+.
Yeah.
Raspberry Pi. It's not meant for the Model B or the Model A. These hats are a B+, A+ thing only.
Yeah.
But it's okay because now people are getting the B+ and the A+.
Okay.
And of course, it fits very nicely onto the B+ in our case. So if you want something that embeds into the case.
That was new products. Good work.
All right.
You did it. Okay.
Whew.
If you saw any of those things and you'd like to get 10% off, use the code FAVORITE on checkout. It's going to be going on until midnight tonight, so get on it. Don't forget, the free deals apply. You'll get a 5-volt trinket, a 5-volt trinket pro, a Perma Proto, free UPS ground shipping. All depends on what you're buying. As you add stuff to your cart, it'll tell you.
What free stuff you get?
Yeah, that's kind of neat. We're going to do some speed round of questions right now.
I can do some speed round.
So ask your engineering questions.
Speedy engineering questions.
Yeah, so here's a quick one. What is the IC level shifter?
An IC level shifter is a breakout or a circuit that converts logic levels from like a high voltage, like 5 volts or like even 12 volts, down to maybe a safe voltage for whatever you're using, like 3.3 volts. A lot of sensors and new chips and whatever chips, they're 3-volt logic only. So if you try to use 5-volt logic, it could damage it. Might not. It's a little bit of a risk for you. But if you use a logic level converter, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about what the Wi-Fi module is on the little Wi-Fi module? What it is?
Like what it does?
Yeah.
It basically is a little Wi-Fi chip that can communicate with a microcontroller like an Arduino or a propeller.
Put the overhead for a second if I want to show it again.
And you give it power and ground, and then it has RX and TX for RX and TX, so you can send data to and from it. You can send it commands, so like connect to my Wi-Fi router, and then connect to the Wi-Fi router, and then you can say, okay, now that you connect to the Wi-Fi router, connect to a website and grab data, or connect to another computer, and it'll also act as a web server. Wi-Fi host, although I haven't tested that as much. So it's kind of like it's a UART serial to Wi-Fi converter. You do have to send it the commands, which are kind of sort of documented, sort of kind of. It does work, and it's not as low power as like the CC3000 or like the Wicked, but it's definitely like a better budget item. Like if you are only making one or two of things and you just want to experiment, you don't want to put in a product, then these chips are good for hobbyist projects.
Okay. We sold out of the hats already. The
ones without the EEPROM, yeah.
Wow, that was fast.
We're getting more in.
That was one of the questions. Are we gonna have more?
Yeah, we ordered another 1,000 PCBs, but what we do is we always make batches of about 50 to 100 or 200 of products to start, and then we get to make sure that if there's any problems or mistakes, we figure that out on a small batch, so that we don't send like 2,000 bad products to people.
We would not do that.
We would not do that. So instead, we just we only put like 50 out, and then we listen. And then, so if I don't think there's anything wrong with the Permaproto Pi Hat. It's pretty simple. But if there was, we wouldn't have the waste of like throwing out or reshipping or replacing tons of products, which we're really into. I like to take it a little slow.
Okay, will there be any IC sockets available in the future for the Trinket or Trinket Pro?
Well, that's a good question. I don't think so, because I don't think they're a standard width. I believe they're 0.7 inch. That's a good question, though. If they're 0.6 inch from pin to pin, you could definitely use one of these 40 pin or 28 pin sockets.
Okay. This is interesting.
Custom sockets are hard.
Here's an interesting question that's kind of like a suggestion, though. Lady Ada, would you ever make a Raspberry Pi compute module backpack that integrates the 5-inch HDMI touchscreen display you sell? So the Pi compute module with a screen on it.
Probably not.
Yeah. Because
the compute is designed for people who want to do OEM stuff, so it doesn't make sense to make an OEM thing that's not an OEM thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it might make more sense for me to make some sort of way to attach the Model A Plus or B Plus to the HDMI backpack, which I've been thinking about, but it's not, mechanically, it's kind of a weird problem, because like, what way do you want it to go, and like, how does it connect? So, yeah, and then also we're gonna have like a 7-inch screen, so like, which one do you want?
Is there a Pi case in the works that will hold a 3.5-inch Pi TFT?
There isn't a Pi case in the works for the B Plus for the existing 3.5 inch. However, there will be a revision of the 3.5 inch Pi TFT that will fit in our current case. So it goes the other way, because I have to use the 40 pin connector.
Can I control a Spark Photon with a Raspberry Pi?
Yes, but I don't have a Spark Photon, so I don't know for sure. But if it works with the Spark Core, which it should, it's just you connect to the web through it. You can use the Raspberry Pi as a web server for sure. You could connect to the Spark Core that way.
Okay. Next up, someone wanted to know where can they get information about what SIM cards work with the Fona. We have that in the guide on learn.adafruit.com. Just search for Fona.
2G SIMs.
Yeah. And then this is going to be the last question of the night, because we're running a little bit late.
Yes.
It says, what's going on with From the Desk of Lady Ada? Glad you asked.
Okay.
So we are finally in a good spot where we can do even more filming. So right now we have Show and Tell, Ask an Engineer, Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern, 3D Thursday. We have
we just did a music video.
We have Circuit Playground that we do once every couple of months. We have a wearable electronics video. We have a 3D printing video. And we have all the things that we're doing, and we're running an electronics company, and we're trying to make
This is the holidays. This is the busiest time of the year.
And we're shipping tens of thousands of orders, and we really like making sure we have the best products, the fastest shipping. So from the Desk of Lady Ada, we've carved out time, and we'll have some episodes very soon.
We can't do any new stuff during this period, because we have to make sure that everyone gets their packages. Because if we did it from the Desk of Lady Ada and you didn't get your Christmas package, you'd be asking, why didn't you great that you got the Desk of Lady Ada, but what happened to my kit that I ordered?
Yeah. So we
focus on the kits.
Yeah, so we really like doing all the content and videos and everything, but we like to make sure that we are taking care of all the people who want to get their stuff fast and the quality high. So with that being said, Lady Ada, it's trivia question time. What are the rules?
The rules are if you've won a fabulous prize from our show, this particular show, you can't win again, only one winner per my lifetime. The prize today...
Want to give away one of the little Wi-Fi things?
We can give away a Wi-Fi one of these. Well, I mean, like, you're kind of on their own.
Well, yeah, that's a little more... How about we do...
We can give away the DRV 2605.
The haptic?
Yeah, and a vibration motor.
Okay, so the haptic breakout board and the vibration motor.
And a vibration motor.
Okay, because I have to remember. All right, here is
you get both things.
Here's the trivia question of the evening. You and I saw a movie. It was a documentary about Edward Snowden. What is the name of this documentary? We talked about this.
Correct spelling and spacing required.
Well, yeah, you could be pretty close. But what is the name of the documentary that we talked about? Tor was involved. The EFF was involved. All this encryption stuff, PGP, all sorts of things. What is the name of the documentary? I'll be looking in the YouTube chat and the Ustream chat. And the winner that's coming in, they're both going in, people are typing, and congratulations! Rai Rut D, Citizen 4, you got it.
That's not the correct spacing, though.
That's the correct spacing.
It's supposed to be one word.
It's close enough. I'm not going to get an argument.
All right, fine.
You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to get in an argument over the internet about someone who didn't finish space or something or not. So by the way, like everybody, be excellent to each other because like sometimes we get like really interesting emails about words or spacing of words or something. You know what? Like I understood that that it was Citizen 4.
That's cool.
I'm totally okay with it.
Sometimes we're picky about spelling, sometimes we're not.
It just needs to be really just any reasonable.
You just want to be like within reason.
Within reason.
Okay.
I'm
going to change what I say before the contest. Then I'll say within reason.
But the only request I have is if we're going to be reasonable, just everyone else should be reasonable.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
sorry you had like some traumatic experience. It's something like somebody emailed and you like spelled like aluminum wrong.
No, one time in the trivia question, you know, someone was angry and they called up and yelled and they didn't type anything into the chat. They thought you emailed because they didn't realize the video was live.
Yeah.
And they emailed like weeks later and they thought they won the trivia because they emailed us. And I had to explain like just. Anyways, so that's why I'm a little lenient on this.
That's
so,
cool.
Anyways,
Now I understand.
Congratulations.
That person wins.
Email support@adafruit.com, Rudy, and you get the haptic breakout.
Haptic DRV 2605 breakout with a haptic vibration motor, so you can use them together because you can need both.
Yeah. Okay. So, with all that being said, that is our show tonight, Lady Ada.
It's totally cool. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's
it's been a long
fine.
day.
It's just fine. It's fine. Peace and love, everybody, guys.
Everything's great. So, don't forget the code's favorite. It's going to be until midnight tonight. 10% off. You should use it, and you should use expedited shipping if you want to get stuff before holidays. We'll see everybody next week. We're doing a show on Christmas Eve. We'll be here, and we're going to do a show on New Year's Eve. We're crazy. Well, we're going to be here. So
we don't have any friends. Where are they going to go?
we have all. Are you kidding? We have thousands.
No,
of
that's
friends.
what I'm saying. My friends are only on the internet, so
Yeah.
you might as well be on the internet. Internet friends.
Yeah. Why have all this technology and interconnectivity, and not use it to meet new people on show and tell, to show and share all this cool stuff, to crack some jokes about Han soldered first. That was funny.
I'm glad.
I want a greatest hits reel because you have good jokes sometimes.
Okay.
You make me laugh. So anyways.
You're like the only one. Don't worry.
Yeah, just funny. So we'll see everybody next week, 8 p.m. on Ask an Engineer. Thank you all of our Adafruit folks that are here shipping late at night. Thank you all the folks that are helping out on the Adafruit team in the chat rooms and all that. Thank you all of our customers, as always, our community who keeps this Adafruit thing going.
Thanks. I would thank the Academy.
When we do our Adafruit musical, we will get a Tony Award
Okay.
for the best electronic music, the longest running musical electronic show. But that's 10 years from now. It's going to take a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and I need to get fit. And
Okay,
because I want to be a dancer in it. So with all that being said, here's a picture of a cat. And here's your moment of Zener.